Good morning. It is Wednesday. I am Jeff Blankenburg, and I look ridiculous. I decided to take my beard off, and I thought it would be kind of funny if I only took part of it off. So there you go, Karthik. Yeah, this will not stick around, but I thought it was kind of funny. So that's what we're doing this morning. A little half beard action. But yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to whatever is happening on my face. But we will. I promise we will get rid of it. I need to go outside ASAP. Am I a little pale? Wow, maybe I have I need to get I need to get a tan over here. Yeah, I'll have to get outside to. I'll have to get outside. But yeah, here we go. This is where we're at today, with the beard, and it'll be gone on Friday for sure. Because I'll be cutting this off later today. I have some stuff I have to do on the Alexa channel tomorrow, and I can't look like this. So yeah, here we are. This is what we look like. Anyway, who cares, right? What does it matter? It's not hurting anybody. I'm having a little fun, and if I have to look ridiculous to do that. That may have to happen. So I've taken a couple of pictures, and I will be thinking about how we do this for an emote of some kind. I'm also working on. I'm going to continue working on this chatbot, even though that's not what we're going to build today. My wife actually walked into my office and talked to me for a couple of seconds, and didn't notice. And I kept smiling. She goes, "Why are you smiling?" And then all of a sudden, it just washed over her face. The horror that I had created on my face. Yes, I fell down and a lawnmower got my face. Good morning, everybody. I can't thank you guys all for showing up this morning for my ridiculousness. We've got Karthik and Startup and Wildbagger IP. Kevin Evans is here. LJ Bettaboy. Trade Last. Gold Zulu. Man, I'm sure you guys all have gotten screenshots at this point. This stuff spreads like wildfire on the internet sometimes, and I'm happy to be the target of the jokes, so that's fine. My daughter did not like it at all. She walked in, she looked at my face, and walked out. But I thought this was kind of fun. My other option, which was a much harder process, was I saw a guy that he started here and kept the beard, and it wrapped around his lip and got wider and wider as it went, and then swooped up and came up here, and so it was like a spiral on his face. There was a baseball player that did this. Karthik's wife says, "Do not try this." Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I think you should definitely give it a roll. Kami, thanks for being here. So anyway, that's what's happening with my face, and we'll do this for a little while longer before this all needs to go. So later today, I will be shaving the rest of the beard off, and I'll look even stranger on Friday when I have no beard, because some of you probably have never seen me without a beard. Even though that's my normal state, this was just a pandemic thing that I was doing, and I've gotten to the point now where I'm just completely tired of it. So if you don't like it, you can just we'll just do this, and hey, what's going on? There's my beard. It doesn't look too bad. Okay. So there's a couple of Good morning, W. Quiet Junior. This is where we're at. This is what we're doing today. I want to build. Yeah, I should get a mirror. I don't have a mirror in here. That would be pretty funny. Anyway, I've been working on a bunch of stuff this week, and a lot of it's been related to a chatbot. And the chatbot can do things, not for a lot of answers yet, because I haven't entered a lot of data. But if I go to chat and I type something like, Alexa, tell me about account linking, you can see that I get the Amazon Alexa entity, the personality, the username, whatever. It replies to me with some information about account linking, and I can do the same thing for other stuff, right? I can say, Alexa, tell me about Jeff, and it'll say, oh, which Jeff do you mean, right? And so I can ask clarifying questions, and if somebody wants to reply to that, they could say, Alexa, none, and it would say, I don't seem to know about that, sorry. That's actually weird that it doesn't know. But I can take those kinds of things, and what if I say, Alexa, Blankenburg? I may have a little parsing issue there because I just removed the need for the comma. So what if I say Alexa none, like that? There we go. So Jeff Nunn's stuff is in there also. So I'm slowly building out the database for this, and if we flip over to my everything view and we look at my answer table, you can see that this is where I'm pulling all these values from. So I have all sorts of things about voice design, our team, webinars, all sorts of stuff. I probably need to add a line. Let's do that right now. So I'll just add a record that is Alexa Live. And we'll add that as ENUS. So that'll be something that people ask about. When is it? What's going on? I don't have any answers for you yet, but we will get there. ENUS. And then I have synonyms and whatever. So we'll go through those and get all that stuff set up. So Alexa Live, ENUS. Yeah, I want to make sure I didn't screw something up. So this is all my data. This is all the stuff that the chatbot is running off of. So you can ask about any of these things eventually, and you will be able to get responses, which I have not written. We will definitely get to that, though. I have a team of people that will be filling these things in. So we have this chatbot that works right now, and you'll be able to come to the Alexa channel anytime you want and be able to get answers to those questions. But I really want an Alexa skill that can do this stuff too. And so it's tricky to figure out exactly how to run this stuff in multiple different places, because I want to use the same data source, I want to use the same everything. And it seems like an Alexa skill should be able to do something very similar to a chatbot, right? I mean, I think that probably makes sense. And so what I thought we'd do today is take a look at the original version of this skill that I built, which was not built against Airtable. I think I was using a Google Sheet or maybe even a flat file. But I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go to the actual official account. So this Amazon Alexa Devs account that I have here, if I can actually get to it. This is an Amazon account where we've published a couple of example skills, primarily dev tips. And I want to go into this skill, and I need to, because this is actually going to be an update. It's going to be a heavy update because I'm going to rewrite everything. Because this was written so long ago. I think this might have even been V1 SDK. It might have even been before that. But the thing that I really need, the starting kit that I need, which I think will be useful, is still just this interaction model. So I'm going to take this interaction model, and we're going to copy it, and we're going to come over here to my machine, and we're going to create a new skill. So I don't think I have anything like Alexa Dev Tips or anything in here right now. I don't. So my first question is, and this is a CLI thing. I don't think can I do Ask Clone still? I want to bring a skill down that already exists, and I think this is, maybe it's an Ask Smappy command. Get lots of options here. Let's see if we can, like, is there like a get skill? Get skill enablement. Get skill metrics, simulate skill, get skill manifest. Get skill status. Like, there's so many things in here. Good morning, W. Giorgio. How are you? Get catalog. Get. I think we're just going to do this the hard way. Yeah, because I'm going to have weird deployment issues anyway. So we're just going to do, if I say ask again, we get ask new. So maybe I can just do ask new and we'll start the new skill. And I'll have to figure out how I actually deploy this. So I'm going to choose Node.js because that's my language of choice. I'm going to choose... Do I want Alexa hosted? I don't think I do. Thank you. There's no confidence here. None whatsoever. I just don't care. I don't know. Maybe that's confidence. I don't know. But this is where we're at today with half shave. I just ran out of time. You know, I was in the shower and only had time to get half the beard off. So yeah, we're gonna choose AWS Lambda as our option, and we'll just choose the Hello World template. And I need the skill name. This will be Alexa Dev Tips. Good morning, Poon007. Thank you for enjoying the beard. Let's see. Please type in my folder name. We'll call it the same, Alexa Dev Tips. No, let's do it without the weird capitalization. Yeah, I actually looked for some... I looked for some Two-Face stuff to use today, and I didn't find anything that I really liked, so I didn't do it. Okay, so now you can see I have a folder called Alexa Dev Tips, so let's go there and just take a look if I could type. And I have my infrastructure. I guess you can't see that, but let's go look at that folder. So I'll close this folder, and we will. I don't know that they're laughing as hard as I would like them to laugh about the beard. I think that they are tolerating my nonsense. I tend to be a little exhausting with my antics and nonsense. So. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't, but they're not really giving me a clear indication of that. Interaction models, NUS JSON. We're going to take this thing as it is, paste the old one in. We have all of these things. Okay, so we have a cancel intent. We definitely want that. We want a help intent. We'll definitely need that, and that'll be where, like, we can help people find stuff so that they can find the subjects they're looking for, or get a little deeper into the content that we have. Let's see. I told my wife that I was thinking about shaving my huge beard of 7 years and asked my wife her thoughts. She said, "I don't care what you do with your face." That's a fantastic response. I don't care what you do with your face. If that's not love, I don't know what is. And that is the way to start your day right there. By the way, I'm looking for sponsors, Red Bull, so come on over. Okay, the more intent. I don't think I need the more intent or the navigate home or the navigate settings. I don't think I need any of that for now. I don't need next. I don't need no, page down, page up. These are all things that I used when I was doing a lot of display template stuff. This is pre-APL. Oh boy. Let's see what TradeLast has to offer us here. Yeah, I really thought about doing a bunch of those. And it's just so time consuming. But I like it. The whole alphabet he did. That's crazy. I don't know the next time you're going to see a beard on my face. It's actually rather annoying to me. Despite the fact that, like, my wife doesn't like it and all that. I don't know, just having the hair on my face really annoys me. I've always been somebody that shaves, and for whatever reason, this is not working for me. Okay, so let's talk about getting the rest of these intents in here. Repeat intent is always something I like to have, and I wish that it worked automatically, but we'll build the logic for that. That's pretty easy. Resume, scroll down. These were all things that were intents when we had display templates, which I won't be using. I'll definitely need the stop intent. That's required for certification. The yes intent I don't need right now. The answer intent is definitely something we need. And we're going to call this answer now because that's kind of the way that we've moved with this. And then I'll have to take this piece here. Did the lamp work? Cool. Lord Hassan, I'm actively working on these chatbots. And so I'm always worried that they're not going to work like they're supposed to. So let me just get rid of these. I think these are good topics and probably things that I should incorporate into the. I should incorporate these right into the chatbot too, but I haven't done that yet. Then I have the display template intent. This is how do I I don't know how to say that. You're now HC. That's what I'm calling you. HC, thank you for the follow. Good to see you this morning, and glad you could join us. Lots of people having fun in the chat, so please participate there. That's where all the fun is. Lots of conversation and sharing and jokes and commands. Actually, let's try this. Now that I'm on the right feed, if I put my headphones on and I go to the chat, and I say angry. Did I type that right? Angry cat. That still didn't work, huh? Let me see if I can fix that because I really want this to work. If I go to... Oh, that's muted. That's why. What if I do it now? Angry cat. Ooh, you guys heard it, but I didn't hear it. Let me turn that down a little bit. And I go to this and I say monitor it. Ooh, another follow. Thank you. I can't see your name right now. Robbie Comstock, thank you for the follow. I want to try that angry cat one more time. Just so I can hear it. Angry cat. Yeah, awesome. So this is another thing that I am working on, and I will freely admit that I am borrowing this concept, and I don't know that I can go as deep as he has. Martin Van Stam, my goodness, thank you guys all for the follows today. Welcome to the show. And welcome to this ridiculous beard. I'm guessing maybe somebody posted something on Twitter. Lots of new folks this morning, which I'm very happy about. But so there's this guy on Twitch. His name is BeginBot, BeginBot, and what he has done, what he's working on, this is the thing that he streams all the time, is building this really rich chat experience on his channel, way beyond anything that Twitch really offers. There, you can earn points, you can challenge people, you can do all sorts of interesting stuff. You actually earn his own currency. But in doing all of that, a lot of it has to do with sound effects. And so one of the things that he's done is I can take these off. One of the things that he's done is he's able to take commands from people, and what they specify is a specific command, and then the ID of a video on YouTube. So you know when you go to a YouTube URL, there's like an ID of the video you're watching at the end. You specify that ID, and then you specify, and these are just space delimited, the start time and the end time. Yeah, he's fantastic. I don't know why you guys are watching me, honestly. But what he is doing is building it so that you can, like, basically help grow the app by adding more commands that have specific sound effects. And I thought that was super awesome. Now, the infrastructure and the rigging to do that, right? To take that command and be able to reach out to a YouTube video and parse it and rip out the audio from a specific video automatically on the fly. All of that stuff is super, super interesting and lots for me to figure out. But I thought I could at least start by working with you guys to kind of do this in a manual way. So I have the ability now to add more commands, more sound effects to our chatbot, the one that runs here on my channel, the Jeff Blankenbot. And so I guess I can show you guys that too. What I've done here, if I save this just for a moment, And we'll open up that file. And if we come down here to the bottom-ish, I have this little statement here, which is basically any other command that isn't something that takes some specific logic. Then I'm going to switch on whatever your command name is. So in this case, if you do !angry cat, it will play that cat sound, and it's an audio file that I have sitting here locally on my machine. I think in a perfect world, I would build this so that they all live in an S3 bucket or something, but then my machine has to go out and get that file, bring it down, play it, and that might be more work. So that's why I'm living with local stuff for now. But you guys should be able to hear that angry cat every time somebody does that. So anyway, I think what he's doing is super cool and super interesting, and I want to do that kind of cool stuff too. So if you guys have ideas, oh great, maybe I'm gonna have to shut down. And this is, I think, exactly what he ran into. He was able to build an ecosystem where, like, when people start spamming, they actually lose currency. No, it's totally fine that you guys did it. Don't feel bad. It's just when it gets out of control, then I'll have to shut the bot down. But I think the idea here is that if we have specific sound effects, I could probably figure out a way to do this where things appear on the screen too, so that we could have like little memes or whatever appear with specific commands. That's something I haven't built at all yet, but it might be very interesting to be able to come up with other sound effects. So if you guys think that there are specific sound effects that would make sense for this show, or that you want to be able to control or command, all I need, and I'm asking that they're no longer than like 4 or 5 seconds, and see if we can come up with some other commands that you guys want to be able to use, so you can play sound effects when certain things happen, like when I actually build something and it works, or we could even do it so there's a specific sound effect when the lamp changes, just so that you hear it too. We can do all sorts of stuff. We really have the power to do whatever we'd like, as long as we know what the commands are. So I didn't really want to work on the bot today, but I wanted to let you guys know about that. So if you're thinking in your head like, oh, you know what would be a cool sound effect? Let's start collecting those things. You can send me a link. You can hit me on Twitter, whatever, and I'll get those files here locally on my machine. I can do all of that stuff manually. I just don't know how to do it in an automated process. But we'll continue on with building out kind of an interactive soundboard of sorts, where we can play with a lot of these things. One of the things I should tell you is that if you go to Alexa Sound Effect Library, and we look at this sound library here, I found out yesterday through some hard work of HTML parsing and regular expressions, that this list here, this is the sound kit library, Alexa Skills Kit sound library, and every single sound effect I have the URL for. I haven't figured out how to do an efficient way of downloading 1,000 different files. They're all very small, but I have some interest in getting all of these so that you guys have a list of at least like all of the different sound effects. These are all the ones that we can use inside Alexa Skills, but I want them all to be available on the channel too. I don't have them in an Airtable. I actually have them in an Excel file right now. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, W. Giorgio, is that there would be some kind of Blankenpoint system for you to unlock the sounds. But I don't know exactly what that's like. No, I don't know that I can post the Excel file, Lord of Sound. There's a number of reasons for that, but I think, like what they say right here, you can use these files within text-to-speech. You can use them as SSML for your Alexa Skills. You cannot download the files or access them directly in a web browser. I don't know if that's like them telling you you're not allowed, or if them saying that you just don't have, like, that you're not capable of doing it. In either case, I feel like I would be irresponsible. If you go discover this yourself, I think that's probably fine, but I don't want to push the envelope on what is and isn't allowed. But I'm going to try and push that a little bit. But if you're building anything for an Alexa skill, to use any of these, you just use the simple audio tag inside your SSML, and you can use any of these sound effects. So there's not actually a great benefit to you to download them unless you're using them for other purposes like I'm hoping to do. Okay, so that is a long derail from what I was trying to do, which is to start building this skill. Um, I think they did that just because that way they have masked URLs that are not specific calls out to MP3s. A lot of people would try to use the files like just the raw MP3. They would try to reference it in other ways, and it doesn't work. You can't do it that way. Um, so that is, I think that's why that is that way. Yeah. So startup has started to figure out the process, but it's tricky to get all 1,000 of them. Okay, so I have the answer intent. I have a display template intent. I don't know if I still want to have this functionality, but I think I'll keep it. I have a get news intent. This is going to be really important. I should actually think about adding that now. So I have my answer. I'm going to need a new table called news. And this will be a record ID. Now, this is actually going to be one of those skills. I always talk about this, but rarely do I ever put it into practice. But this is going to be one of those skills where multiple people are going to be collaborating and contributing to the content. And I need an easy way for them to do this. So this is one of those times where using Airtable actually makes a ton of sense versus something else, where a lot of times I use it just because it's convenient. But this will be something where I'm collaborating, especially with a lot of non-technical people. Startup, you do you, and if a link gets shared, a link gets shared. I can't stop that. How would I want to do news? I would probably have like a headline. Which is just single line text. I would probably have a body, which will be longer text maybe. I mean, having it be that is fine. And then I'm probably going to want an expiration date so that I'm not saying all the news all the time, but then I don't have to carefully delete and manage this. Yeah, so I would want a date field here. And I would like the friendly date. Use the same time zone GMT for all collaborators, yes. So that'll be my expiration date. I should also put in here a is disabled checkbox. And the reason that I do this is because then I only ever pull things that are Kevin actually asks a really great question. Also, W. Georgia was looking for names and powers for his fighting game. And so there's a form there you can use to provide him some additional answers. Let me go give that a look. See if I can't contribute something. Character's name. How about Lars Thundersquat? That seems like a cool name. I don't know what you're building, but what should their power be? And what should their power be? Lars Thundersquat, his power is going to be... trying to think of what it was called in like the WWE. There was a guy that could crush somebody with their legs. I'm imagining this guy has like huge, huge powerful legs. Let's see, what is this going to be called? We're going to call it the can opener. I don't even know what that means, but we're gonna do that. There you go. You've got a character for yourself. Kevin Evans asked, what are the best practices for a help menu? So in my experience, most people use help to just describe how to use the skill. I don't think this is the best practice. I just want to start there. So people will use when people say help, they'll be like, oh, you can say X, Y, or Z. Give it a try. What would you like to do? That I think that's the lazy simple approach. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna have to take the sweatshirt off. It's a little warm in here today. There's nothing wrong with that approach. It works fine. You'll pass certification. It checks the box. What it doesn't do is I like to use help contextually. So one of the things that you may have seen me do in my scavenger hunt is I'm actually keeping track of what they did every time so that I know what intent they just hit. So like they're in the middle of a buy or something like that and they say help. I can say, oh, you were in the process of buying something because I know what their step before that was, before they said help. And then I can say, oh, well, if you're doing this thing, here's what you want to know. And so I can say, it looks like you're trying to buy something. These are the products that we have offered. If you want to buy one of them, just say buy, and then I might give them a list of the couple of products that I offer. So I really prefer a very contextually aware help rather than a step-by-step or something like that as you're suggesting. But I think it really depends on what your users are expecting. I think that contextual help, something that takes advantage of the knowledge of what the user was just trying to do and gives them guidance or advice about how to do the thing they were trying to do. And if that isn't it, then that's okay. Then they can say, no, I need help with X. And at that point, you could have additional utterances and slots that are the things that people might want to do. But I think that contextually aware, like, hey, I'm pretty smart and I know what you were trying to do, so I'm going to give you guidance on that, is probably the best advice I can give you, Kevin. I think that's the right approach. But that's kind of where I think I'm at. LJ asked if I've built the business card skill without Airtable. No, the wind kind of fell out of my sails on that one because they yanked my skill from the store because I wasn't allowed to have a skill that's just my name. So that's I still need to do it. I think that there's a very, very simple model there for people to be able to provide their information in a skill. But I need to rethink that process and probably talk with the certification team about what is and isn't allowed. Because there's got to be something we could do that would allow people to basically build that business card kind of skill. You wouldn't be able to have it be your name. So you'd have to have some other way for people to identify you or talk to you. And it might just be like Jeff's Place. Like Jeff's Place is fine, but Jeff Blankenburg is not fine. And so I have to manage that specifically to figure out what the right way to go is. And I don't know the answer yet. So that's a long way of saying, LJ, I have not built that business card skill, but I should. Yeah, Jeff's info, whatever. The problem is there's so many Jeffs, right? And I could also do like Blankenburg info or some. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is here, but something I still need to spend some time thinking about what is the right approach. Okay, so let's get through this. So this is the get news intent. This is where I'm going to need, like, give me the headlines, tell me the news, whatever. This is a give me something random. I don't know that I need that. I think that this is early on, like me learning how to build. And I think that what I should do is take these samples and move them into this one. And the reason for that is because then if I don't have a value in the answer slot, then I have a way to just say, oh, I don't have a value, I'll just give them something random. And I have some special things that I want to do here as well, which we'll get into once we start doing the code. So I can get rid of the random one. I think that's good. The fewer intents, the better, I think. The speech con intent, this is something that I'm going to have to really figure out. But this one's going to stay. I just have to figure out how to do this properly. And this is the same idea, though. If you guys don't know, there are all of these speech cons, and I've actually started a database of them. These are all the things that Alexa can say in a funny way, so like with some emotion or feeling. And I have created a database that is most of them. I don't have all of them yet, and I have some things that I need to figure out related to specifically Hindi or at least the Indian language in general. And I haven't put any Japanese characters in here yet, but so you can see that for locales, I have all of them here. So I have Hindi India, I have Japanese Japan, I have Spanish Mexico and Spain. I haven't entered those yet either. I'm in the process of working through Italy, I think, right now. But I'm doing all this data entry so that a user in a specific locale can say, give me a speech con, or let me hear how you say abracadabra. And it will say the abracadabra for you in the language, in the voice, in the accent, the way that you would hear it in that locale. And so this is going to be pretty cool. I mean, I already know that this works. I did it before, obviously. But now my database is much bigger. We have many more supported languages, and I just need to add this data to it. And so all I do in my SpeechCon table is I just have like ... is a SpeechCon. Oh, it's totally tedious. You can do a chaining, learning from stand-up comedy. So you respond to one answer and then say, suggest, hey, would you like to know more about dev tips? Or it'll say something random, or oh, we have dev tips on this. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, is that I could recommend them other things. One of the things that I plan to do, and I guess I should just build, so for user, I'm going to have a, this is the user ID, so like the actual user ID. But I think here I'm just going to call this answer, and I'm going to call this link to another record. I'm going to choose the answer table, and I can link to multiple records. And so every time that a user hears an answer, I think that I'm going to log it. I think that I'm going to save that. And so when they say give me something random or something I haven't learned before, I can only pick ones that they haven't gotten through. And so that I'll always pick something new, fresh, that they haven't heard before. So that's one of the things that I want to be able to do, is log this information so that I know my user has heard these 15 things. So when they ask me for something new or something random, we go ahead and give them another one. So that's something else that we're working on. So we have the SpeechCon intent. That's good. We'll use that for sure. And I need to look at the SpeechCon type. I'm not sure what that's about. But so we have body template 1. And I have all these different body templates that people might want to see and show. And so I have that done already. It seems weird to get rid of it. And then I have another slot called sound effects. Now this is something that I'm also working on. Sound effects. If I go to this sound effect table, I don't have any data in here yet. But those 1,000 sound effects that I have, I'm basically going to capture all of them. So I'm going to capture this URL, this soundbank URL, this entire audio tag, basically. BCXML, my beard. Yeah, it's gone. I decided to shave my beard on Monday. I was just annoyed by it. And I thought, well, why not be a little ridiculous and only shave half of it? So here you go. There's half a beard. This will all be gone on Friday. So worry not, but that's where the beard went. So thanks for noticing. It's surprising. My wife came in and talked to me for a few seconds and didn't notice, which I thought was kind of strange. But after a moment, she was like, "Oh my God!" And then she walked out of the room because it looks awful. But it's fun, so why not? Let's do it. Yeah, Alexa, what happened to the left side of Jeff's beard? Yeah, I probably should have an answer for that, but that's a very temporal answer. And updating skills can be a little slow sometimes. Okay, so we were talking about sound effects, and that I'll have all those sound effects here. No, she's there. So I turned just like this, and she was talking to me, and I said, "You don't notice anything different?" And she was like, "Oh, I gotta go," and walked away. But yeah, just like this, the side that you see when you walk into my office is the clean side. And so I was kind of looking away at the window when she walked in at first, just to let her see the clean side. And then when I turned, she was like, "Arr." Okay. Sound effects is something else that I'd like to be able to do. And maybe you guys can offer me some guidance on this, because I'm not really sure I don't know how useful this is. I think that sound effects are cool and useful, but the problem that I have is that you don't know what's available. And if you come in here and say play, I don't know, play tone 3, how did you know it was tone 3? And if you were on this page, then why do you need the skill when you can just hit this button and get the same sound, right? So I'm struggling on whether or not I actually want to incorporate the sound effects into the skill. I think it would be cool, and maybe there's reasons why you would just want to play it, but I don't know, I'm torn on that one. So I haven't actually built that stuff in yet. But we do have this sound effects slot value. Did I have a sound effects intent? I don't think I do. I don't think I ever built it. The other problem I have is that if you say play a cat sound, I have like cat angry. I think this angry meow is the one that the angry cat plays with. I'm sure somebody will remind me in a moment that I have a sound effect hooked up in my skill or in my chat. But we have these long meows, cat purrs. And so if you say play a cat sound, do I just pick one randomly? There's the angry cat. Thank you, Gold Zulu. So I don't know exactly how to do clarification with you on those things, or birds or bears. There's lots of different values, but we'll skip it for now. So I'm gonna take this sound effect slot and we'll just leave it. I didn't do all of them. I just did some. It looks like I did a lot. Maybe I did do a lot. Anyway, we'll do this from a database so it's easier to get through. It looks like I did a lot of them. I almost want to just cut these all out for now because I'm not really going to use them. And then I have SpeechCon's ENIN. I wonder why I called it that. I mean, that's obviously English India. But I feel like, oh, I know why. Because when I came over here to copy my intent model, I had the ENIN. I should probably have taken the English US because I think there was more functionality there. No, it looks like the same intents at least. Okay, I'm not too worried about it then. But I was actually building it out so that I had a different slot type for each locale because I didn't want all the sound effects. Yeah, it probably is. It probably is case sensitive. Oh, I love that, Gold Zulu. Bugs crawling on the screen. I think we'd have bugs all the time, though. I seem to have no shortage of bugs. Yeah, but I like that. I think if you guys spot a bug or something like that, I think we need to come up with these sound effects, though. And so I think that this library will give us a good starter kit for sound effects. But I was thinking like little tiny movie quotes and all sorts of other stuff that would just be funny to have pop up as we're doing the stream and allow you guys to have that control. Once you know the command, it would just work. So we'll have to think about what those things are and how we best ingest those. That's the real trick to all this, is how do we ingest that data? How do we create a new one without me manually just entering them each time? Which, that's fine. I'm a big believer in starting with manual and then figuring out how to automate the things that make sense. Okay, so we're coming back to our skill. I have this SpeechCons ENIN. I feel like it should just be SpeechCons. Let's see if we can do this. So I've done this before, obviously, and if we go to the SpeechCon table, I'm going to need a field called Alexa, and we'll call it slot. No, we'll call it Alexa slot. Alexa slot JSON. And this is going to be a formula field that I don't know what that is yet. Equals, we'll just do record ID for now, just so I have a formula in there. Save. Okay, so I have a formula, but what I really want to do is go get the thing that I created for Star Wars. I think I did it for Star Wars. So out here, I have this slot values JSON, and so if we look at the formula for this, you can see it gets rather complex. Copy, cancel, go back to what I have there, and we'll walk through what this is, but this is what will give me the JSON that I need to copy and paste these things right in. There aren't synonyms for speech cons, so I don't think I need to worry about that. No, I'm actually putting this in the wrong place. I want to put it here. Karthik, the answer to that question is I had to do an OAuth connection with the Amazon Alexa channel against Twitch so that I could post things as it. And then it's just a matter of building my chatbot and using that as its identity. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing, I can show you this, I guess, is if we come into, this is my bot. Let me open up the other one. Is open recent Alexa chatbot. And so, oh no, I'm opening the wrong file. Open. If I go to the Alexa chatbot and I open this file, I think I'm going to flip over to the camera just so you can get a good view of this terrible beard, but also so that I'm not giving anything away. But part of the JSON, I'll just delete this chunk for a second. There is normally where the cursor is, that's where the OAuth authentication string goes. So I've just deleted that for a minute. But you can see that this is something that I use inside my bot. So in here, I bring in identity. And then when I create a connection to the Twitch chat, I use those as my options. But inside here, I can specify the channels that this bot will actually run on. And so once I get this thing polished and working a little better, I'll be able to do pkarthik r. In fact, I can do that now if you're okay with it. And I could spell it right too. But we could also do jb none. We could also do... who else is doing a bunch of stuff on here? Justin Jeffress, like that. And then that will allow me to run this bot on other people's channels. So that is that's all I really need to do though, and so it'll automatically run on those channels without me having to do anything else. So let me fix this file. So let me come back here just for a second, and I'll add those channels. Gold Zulu, I can't put you on there just yet. I need to check on a few things to make sure that I'm not breaking any rules. But I will gladly do it if I can check a few boxes first. Maybe that's something that you guys can purchase for some ridiculous amount of points on the Alexa channel. Okay, so I've closed that out, and we're back to my JSON here, and what I want to do is just get rid of all these values. We get down here, we have all these slot values that we're going to get rid of, and then I'm also going to do that for the topic. We'll have to delete that too. So I'll just save this for a minute, and let's look at my formula that I was working on. And I have synonyms, and I'm never going to have a synonym. So I think that means that I can take all of this and just do that. And so now I end up with JSON that looks like this. And so you can see that I have these individual values, all available to me. But the thing that I don't have, man, maybe I still need to do this. Have a different set of intents. How do I want to handle this? Because I'm gonna have a bunch of speech cons, right? There's 835 of them right now, And that doesn't include the 200 or so that are Japanese, the 200 or so that are Hindi. There's a lot of overlap in the English languages. There's a bit of overlap in the French languages. There's definitely some overlap in the Spanish languages. But I'm well over 1,000, probably in the close to 1,500 speech cons when we finally get it all done. But you can only do the ones that are for your language. So it kind of feels like, at least for the NUS, which I already have done, I should come in here and if I choose filter, add a filter, nope, where locale contains ENUS. This takes me down to 312 records, which are the 312 that are for the ENUS locale. And so I should be able to take this JSON, just this column, and come over here into speech cons and dump it. And I end up with all the speech cons. Actually, I need to make sure I lose my trailing comma. I have all the speech cons for the English language right there. And this way I don't need to worry about like doing dynamic updates or dynamic entities or any of that weird stuff. Because this isn't going to change that often. And if I do need to update, I do need to change it, I can. But this is a much cleaner format too. I like the flat entity instead of all of the indenting and curly braces and everything. So this is all my speech cons. Now I need to do the same thing for topics. And I think I'm going to take all of this and just get rid of it. The list of speech cons, is that what you're asking about, Gold Zulu? Did I build that by typing? There was quite a bit of typing into this database. But the JSON itself, no, I did not type all of that. This was just generated just now. I just created this column, and it is using this formula to generate all of that JSON. So I didn't have to type all of that. But the values that are in this database, yes, I did not do any scraping. This is something that I do when I'm just sitting on the couch, and I'll just say, okay, I'm going to do Italian today. And it doesn't take long. It's maybe 15 minutes to do the Italian language, but there's so much nuance to my data that I want to make sure that I'm getting it right. Because when you automate stuff, it's often hard to make sure that you get it correct. And so I really want to make sure that I'm getting this clean and that the accents are there and that I do have perfect matches. I feel like writing the software to parse this would take longer. So that's kind of how I ended up here. Anyway, so that is, I'm going to just do the English language one for now, but as I build out each additional locale for this skill, I can just come in, filter this, and grab the JSON that I need because I have all of them. The other JSON that I need is this answer. So we'll have to come out here to the end, and it looks like, ooh, I already have this. That's beautiful. So I'm going to change this to Alexa slot values. It is not easy to copy and paste. No, if you look at the Alexa speech con reference, the way that they have this page structured, even with some parsing, it's not a super copy and pastable page. You can see that each one looks like this, but if I highlight this, I end up with lots of other things I thought that came through the page. So no, I haven't just done copy and paste. The other thing that I want to make sure that I don't do is have duplicates. I want duplicates to be reflected by multiple languages. So like abracadabra is available in every language. But I want to make sure that I don't have multiple abracadabras in the database. So I need to duplicate it here instead. And so that like copy and paste is great for the first one, and I may have done that, but it doesn't work very well for the rest. Because I actually need to verify like, oh, these match. I need to add another language to this. I don't need to add another row, if that makes sense. And so answer is the same way. I have Karthik, the idea with the speech cons, well, I can show you this actually because the skill still exists. Alexa, open Dev tips.
This is Alexa Dev Tips. What can I help you with?
Say abracadabra.
Abracadabra. What do you want to know about?
Say wahoo.
Wahoo! Which other topic can I assist with?
Stop.
Catch you next time.
So the idea behind that card...
Because you use Dev Tips,
Alexa,
I recommend another
Stop. So that is kind of the purpose of that Karthik, is that as you're developing, as you're sitting there working, and you're like, man, I really, how does she say wahoo? I want to hear that again. Rather than having to like go find the page and click the button and do whatever, you know she can say that as a speech con, but you want to hear it again. That's kind of the idea behind it. But I'm also taking this a step further, and this is where data curation really becomes important, is that not only do I have abracadabra, or achu, or whatever, labeled by language, but I also have this type column. And the type column is meant to be something that we don't currently have a catalog for. And it's things like disappointment or frustration or a welcome. And so celebration would be anything that's like, yeah, you did a great job, congratulations, that kind of stuff. And disappointment would be like, oh man, that stinks, right? And so you could say, give me a celebration speech con, and now I'm just going to go pick a random one for you, right? And so you could hear like, oh, that sounds good, or give me another one, or repeat that, or whatever. And so these are classifications of speech cons. This is not something that exists anywhere, but it's something that I've started. That's something that I've started building. And so, like, I want an animal sound, or whatever it might be. Onomatopoeia. If you guys don't know that word, that is things like. What's a good example of an onomatopoeia? Auga, right? You're making the sound that is the sound. There's certainly some of those in here. Bam and bang and those kinds of things are also. So that's what this type column is going to be. Again, haven't entered that data, but it's not hard to do. I can just go through and say, oh, that one's this, this, and this, or whatever, and you just kind of go down the list and make it happen. But then you have some really valuable data for people when they want to be able to find the right speech cons for their skill. So that's what that is. So I have this topic that I need to fill in with the JSON. So we were looking at answer. I should first let's change this to answer, because that's what I call it up top. And then let's take my slot values, which are here. And again, I think I should only take the ones that are NUS, right? I don't have ones that are other things yet. So it's okay for me to take everything, but eventually I'll have to filter this down. Because the Japanese ones will be written completely different. The Hindi ones will be written completely different alphabets, right? So I'll take this column, and we'll bring this over here, and I will make this my answer slot. And you can see that when I have synonyms, those things are here and filled in. I should probably lowercase my synonyms, which I shouldn't do here. I should do over here. So if we look at these, like I should never have capital letters in my synonyms, because it just doesn't make sense. So I'm not going to do all these right now, but we'll get through all of these, and we'll get some more data filled into these. But this is what I'm building, right? So I have all of these slot values living here, and it's called answer, and then I think that's the end of the file, right? Yeah, so we can come all the way to the top. I'm going to get rid of the... I don't really want to delete it, because that's a lot of data that I don't currently have. But I'm not really going to use that sound effect slot right now, I don't think. Okay, so we have our new interaction model, and it reflects the one that we had before, but it's a little bit modified. So in my Lambda, right now I have the Hello World skill. We're going to get rid of all this stuff. And One of the other things that we'll want to do is have like, welcome to the skill, welcome to dev tips. How can I help you, right? And I think I have some of that. I have an old version of dev tips that was just a copy of the Google Sheet. So you can see that I used to do things a little bit differently with how I structure things and how I think about them. But the stuff that I really want is not in there. This was analytics. What was I doing here? Nothing, apparently. I've rebuilt this a few times, so responses is the thing that I think I want. And we have a welcome message. And so I have some basic things like this, right, for my welcome message. So I can take these, and we'll go over to the one that I'm working on now. We have a welcome table. I always need an is disabled because you never know when you need to pull something out of sort of circulation right away, and you don't want to have to delete it. And then this will be voice response. Is that what I call it now? And then I also need a column that is locale, which I don't have at all, so we'll just save that for now. All right, so we've started building out our speech stuff as well. I don't know if I should keep this in another place, but it feels like as I get bigger, I have this data table, and I'm going to have all of these like pieces of data that the skill can use. It feels like it starts to get complex when I also have all of my speech strings in there. But man, it is nice to be able to have all of this stuff. And I'll need this over there. So let's do country first. So we can just take this data and we'll go over to my speech table and we'll add one called country. And this goes away and this goes away. And then I need a language table. This one can go away. This one can go away. And then we'll need a locale table. And this is just so that I can keep all that stuff straight. I don't really need the country and language. It's just nice to have those as lookup tables if I need them. So we'll come back over to data and we'll look at language. And I will take this list of languages. Over to speech. Drop that here. Great. And then the last thing that I need is the list of locales. And the thing that I need here is those. So before we do that, we're going to change our columns. So we'll go to the speech table and we'll look at the locale and we'll need this one to be linked to another record, which will be country. We'll call this country. And then we'll change this one to be language. And we'll link this to the language table, like so. And then I should be able to do this. And everything should link up very nicely. So now my country and language table should have an extra column, which is locale. And it does kind of. did I do that wrong? I did that wrong. All right, let's try that again now that they're in the right order. Now I have, there we go. Okay, so I have those 3 columns and that's all set and good. And I have my welcome table where this stuff will live, so that's all good. Now we have a locale that we can put in here, so I can say NUS. Oh, I need to tell it that it's a reference to that other table. Locale. I can link to multiple records, and then I can just take this and drop it down. Okay, so I have the beginnings of what will be my speech table, my speech data for everything. Now, what do I call these? Voice, response. Response is the right word, I think. Okay, we're good in data for a little bit. So let's talk about getting this skill rolling. So one of the first things that I'm going to want to do is get rid of the Hello World intent handler. I don't need that. I will definitely need the help intent handler. And I think that I'm going to use this as an opportunity to build my starter template for a skill. This is something that I say I'm going to do every time that I build a skill, but I never ever actually do it. I just start forging forward. So I think this is where I'm going to start ripping some things out and basically building the template that we'll use, that I end up using for everything, right? That has my what do we call it? The response log and request log, the interceptors, like that stuff. None of that stuff is here by default, and I need a lot of that stuff. But I could build it without any logic, so it's just kind of nice and clean and works the way that I want it to. So I think that's the next step. So let's go open up my scavenger hunt code. Do I have that down here anywhere? No. Open GitHub scavenger hunt index. This has a lot of the things that I really like, and so the first thing is going to be that I need these things. So we'll copy those into this file because I already have the SDK. And then we'll need to do a little bit of npm magic to get the files that I need. So we'll do cd lambda. And in here I have index.js and I have a package JSON already. That's great. So what's in my package JSON? This should probably be called Alexa Dev Tips. What does it not like about that? Oh, you want all lowercase? Alexa Dev Tips. Okay. Author, all of that's good. We can change this to be. That's great. Okay, so I need npm install https. Cool. I also need Airtable, npm install Airtable. That's been gotten. What if I just do npm install just to get that other stuff? Am I missing anything else? Did it already get all that? Just checking to make sure we have everything. And then there was one more, wasn't there? AWS SDK. So let's do that. Nope, not there. Down here sounds good. Okay, that's rolling. Make sure that that stuff all got added. AWS SDK, model, core, Airtable, HTTPS. All of that looks good. Okay, so we have we have our requirements there. Let's look at what else we do down here at the bottom, because I think that stuff will be important too. So I have those pieces. I don't need any of this. I probably should have my console log statements inside my handlers, just so. Let's do that real quick while we don't have many of them. This is just the syntax I use. This doesn't necessarily make sense for everybody, but it's one of those things that I tend to do, because then it makes my life easier when I'm trying to figure out what's going on later. So this will be help intent. Error. Oh, good. They fixed that to be error.stack. That's wonderful. I like not having to do that myself. Okay, so that gets us that stuff. Session attributes and previous action and all that stuff, those are things that I will build later. That's more specific to a skill, perhaps. But if I go to the very bottom of this file, there's a few things that I want. I want these 3 lines. So let's go to the bottom of this file. This needs to be moved up. I don't know why that's on its own line. So we'll add those things. But then we need to add those functions. So let me make sure that I get that right too. So I have a response log and a request log, and I'm going to keep some of it, but not all of it. Oh, okay. Let's just try that again. So I have my request log. The thing that I really need is the request envelope. So I'm just going to comment these pieces out for right now, because I think I'm going to need them. Or at least some of them. All right, so that is my request envelope. That's the thing that I really care about being logged. And then I have my response builder, and that's on its way out. That's good. What else do I do that's kind of custom? I probably need like some of my core functions. One of those is get resolved words and get spoken words. I use those quite often. Those seem like things that I would always want to have. So we'll put those here. Another question I might have is, should I be breaking these things out, like putting them in their own files? That's just like a helper library that I could... Let's try that, right? Like, Scorchius asks, how can I grow the other half of my beard back tonight? I don't think that's going to happen. It took me a solid 2 months to get this, and I just don't like having a beard, I think. I think I've made that decision that I just don't like having a beard. So get used to this look, because that's what's sticking around. But thank you for the suggestion, Scorchius. And welcome to the channel if I haven't said hello before. Thank you for being here. Okay, so the thing that I just decided I'm going to do is that in my Lambda function, I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to create a new file, and we're going to call this library. No, not library. Helper.js. Okay, so I'm going to have to use some of my relatively limited knowledge about what the heck I'm doing to make sure that I do this properly. That's not the file that I wanted to open. So I think if I look at If I look at that file that I had earlier, open recent, look at my Alexa chatbot first. So I have like this keys.js and this identity.js. I think this is how I'm going to call it in. So we're going to take that and we'll bring it into my index, and we'll come to the very top. No, wrong index. We'll come to the very top of this, and we'll add another one that is Z. We'll call this helper. And this is going to be helper.js. That part's pretty easy. The harder part is making sure that I get the syntax of the other file working. And so I'm going to jump to my camera view just for a second, because I don't want to show the contents of this file, but I have this. That's what I thought it was. Okay, so I can just take this, and we can close that file again so I don't show it on screen, and then we come back to my everything view. And what I need to do for helper.js is I need this. I just wanted to make sure that I had the right syntax for this. So module.exports, and then inside this code, I think I can do anything I want. So I should be able to take these two functions that I just created that have no dependency on anything else. And that's really the thing that I'm thinking is going to live in this handler, is that I'll just call these functions, but they don't need anything else that's in the file, right? And so we'll add these to helper, and I think I can just do like this. I think this will work just fine. Function get spoken words. What don't you like about that? Okay, we can do this another way. I think I can also do it like this. So if I take this stuff out, we get back to that. I can come down here and do them the normal way, and then in this I just say get spoken words, get resolved words. I think that will work. And so what I'm basically doing is saying now to call those functions, I can say something like helper.getSpokenWords, and that will be a reference to that function in that file. I think that's how it'll work. We should create another one just to test this. That's another thing that I really wish I could get back to, is that I haven't found effective ways to do like real unit testing for Alexa skills. But man, I wish I had one. I wish I had a good mechanism to really build out a rich set of unit tests and then just develop against the results of those tests. But I haven't figured that out yet. Add two numbers. 1, 2. So we'll do return 1 plus 2. Okay. Lord of Sound, I thought there was a volume, but maybe there's not. SSML. This is close enough. This gets me close to where I need to be. I thought that there was, at the very top here somewhere. Is there not? I thought there was a volume. Maybe there's not. They're all here behind. Yeah, it's under prosody, and it's speech. Now, I don't know if that works for sound effects too, but I think it's just for the volume. I think that is the thing that I was thinking of, Lord of Sound. It's under prosody. It says it's for speech. I don't know if that would also apply to sound effects or things that you may have added. Yeah, I think you can probably nest. I know you can nest most things, so I would think you could nest them. I don't know. It's worth an experiment. I'd love for you to give that a shot right now and let me know if it works, but I think that should work. I know you can nest values for sure, though. Return Well, I keep doing that with the wrong braces. So weird. Okay, so I have this add two numbers function. I just want to test this and see if it works. So we have to do add two numbers like that. And then over here, in my launch request, this is where I'll want to test this. So I think I can say like helper dot add two numbers 1 4. I think that's going to work for me. I think that might be a way for me to extract a lot of my stuff, and then I just have this helper library with a lot of the functions that I use over and over and over. I do wonder sometimes if I could run into issues where like I have a lot of dependencies. So what are some of the other things that I have built that are like my helper functions? Like sending a text message. I think I can probably do all of this. It's just like I have this SNS, right? So the thing that I found... Because in order to have this kind of code running in helper, then helper also has to import yeah, I agree with you. I can do debug stuff and things like that, Gold Zulu. Yep, I agree. A console log probably would be good. But the thing is that I don't know that I want to necessarily turn it off. Because by having console log on all the time, it allows me to find issues after they happen. Like if I'm turning console log off, then I'm making the decision that I don't care to log the things that are happening. And then when something goes wrong, I have to go back in, turn console log back on, and say, okay, can you do that thing again? Where this way, every time there's an error, I can grab and log that stuff. I normally would hydrate everybody. I know a few of you have used some points to do that. I don't have any water, so I'll pretend to drink a Red Bull. How about that? I appreciate your participation. It's super awesome, Harshman. But I don't have a bottle of water with me today, unfortunately. I normally bring one in here every morning. So I think we'll try working with this. I don't mind moving the console log stuff to another place, but I'm not going to get a shorter syntax than this. I could do helper.log or something, but I think it ends up being about the same. Oh, it's a vector for attack. Interesting. Hadn't considered that. Yeah, this is a pretty ridiculous look, and because I have my camera flipped, I keep grabbing the wrong side of my face, but it feels so nice to not have hair on this side of my face. I will be very honest with you. Good to know unspecified software. Thank you for that tip as well. So maybe at some point I rip that stuff out. I just haven't encountered any issues or concerns with that. And console log is probably more of an issue with web stuff, maybe. But because of the way this runs just as a serverless function that doesn't have a UI, I don't know. I guess I just haven't worried about it as much. Clark, what do you think of the beard? Is it working for you? Keep it. I will definitely not be keeping it, but it's a fun look for today. Okay, so I've got those pieces in there. I've got the help intent handler. All of my handlers are in the right place. This needs to go because I deleted it. I've got all those pieces in place. I've got all that stuff. I mean, we're getting close to where I want to be. I think I probably need my HTTPS function that I use over and over. Let's see if we can find that. is. Yeah, it's weird to me. I never thought of myself as somebody that has multiple faces, but here we are. So this is my HTTP GET function, which is pretty standard. It's the HTTPS sample code for the most part that they give you, but I've made some modifications to handle like the Airtable calls and stuff like that, but those are easy to swap out for something else. So I've got that here. That's good. That's something I will definitely need. What are the other things like these are always useful to have. I can put these in the helper. Get random item, get random. Those should work. I just need to add get random item up here. I don't really need this. We'll get rid of this. I can, once I start using this template, I'll be able to call these functions pretty easily. And so this is another nice thing because like I have get random item. This is where I pass in an array of things and it just randomly grabs one for me. And I do this with lots of results that I get from Airtable. So it's a handy little function to have already written instead of having to create it every time. All right, Karthik, take care, man. Thanks for being here. Get resolve words. Those are good. Clark is recommending that I check out Debug, which is a debugging package. Awesome. Update user record, supports APL. This is probably another good one to take out. Put it in here. And then we're into our handler. So I don't have a ton of those, which I guess is good. I think I have another one up here that I kind of like slapped in the middle just when I was in a hurry. Give next puzzle. Answer intent. Yes, no, hint intent. I thought, yeah, is product is entitled. These are things that I need for ISPs. So we'll do that here too. And we'll just start building ourselves a little library of functions. So we can say is entitled as the function that I'll expose. Is entitled. Help intent handler, cancel and stop, fallback session. Yeah, I think we're probably pretty good. So as we go through all of this, though, one of the things that I do at the beginning, is there anything in here that I can really use? This feels like a thing that I want to just keep in my template, but I don't use it over and over. I use it for skills where I really care about manipulating data specifically for a user. But I do feel like getting a session attributes is always handy. No, I'm doing that here. I'm not loading the session attributes. I'm not saving them or anything like that. This is just getting them so that I can manipulate them. So I don't really need that either. Okay. So are we good? Do we feel good about this template? Is there anything else that I would want to do? I can get rid of this function call since it doesn't exist anymore. I don't actually know that any of that stuff works yet. We haven't tested anything, but I feel like at some point we'll have to start building on top of this. No, that feels pretty good. So I'm going to just make Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do next. So we're going to take in here. Let's clear this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's create a new skill, an entirely new skill. Yeah, that's a good question, Gold Zulu. So the way that this is working is I'm using a library. Do I still have the bot file open? I'm using a library called SoundPlay, and all I'm doing to make it work is I just call the sound.play, and I reference an MP3 file that I have here locally on my machine. So that's how you can do things like Angry Cat. I don't have anything else. That's the only one I've built so far. But that's how you hear the Angry Cat when someone types that command in. So what I'll have to do is specify a specific sound effect for each command that we want to come up with. And we'll have to figure out a way to do that effectively. But those, when you hit that command, it's hitting the node bot that's running locally on my machine, which has access, of course, to those files, and it plays the audio through my machine, which is then fed back out to the stream. So that's, I mean, it's not terribly complicated, but that's more or less what it's doing. I can hear it only because I have a set of headphones that are sitting right here where the volume's up. So I heard it. It just wasn't super loud. Like, I don't want it to be so loud that the microphone picks it up. But yeah, I can definitely hear it for sure. So that is that's how that works. So I want to come in here and I want to create a new template, I guess. So we'll just do ask new. And this time we're going to say Node.js. We're going to say AWS Lambda. We're going to take the Hello World template. And this is going to be called Alexa template. Start template. Is that what I want to call it? Yeah, that's fine. Alexa start template. And then we have a new folder called Alexa start templates. So let's do oh, I typed it wrong, of course. Okay, so let's do this the way that you guys can all see. Close this folder. Open a folder. And so we have this pristine environment and set of files. So for my index file, I'm going to open up the other one, which was the, don't have it open, Alexa dev tips, Lambda, index. We'll take this and we'll drop it in here. Stupak62, no, I haven't used that. I actually don't know much about it at all. I tend to not live with a home automation hub so much as a bunch of independent devices that do their own thing. But I'm always interested to learn more. So no, I have not used that. So we'll go back into dev tips and we'll get the helper function that we created. And we'll create a new file here. Save that. Close it down. And then for my model, I think I want to get rid of the Hello World intent entirely. So it's just the basics. Looks like it'll work. I think we're in a good spot for a template. So now I'm going to take this and we'll use we're going to create a new repo. Did I not? Well, we'll wait to push that up to get up. I don't want to break it. Local only control. No, Stupak, that is not something I've seen at all, man. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty sweet. No, I'll have to take a look at it. All right. So let's get back to the code. Let's close all these down. I have my stuff ready. I'm just not gonna close this folder. And I want to go back to the dev tips directory. Okay, so now we can start modifying this. So one of the first things that we can do is think about those speech cons. I'm going to be streaming for a little bit longer. I'm on Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time, and so I'm probably only here for about another 20 minutes or so, and then I've got a full day of like meetings and planning and stuff like that. So I probably will have to cut it short right about noon. But I'm on for 2 hours Monday, Wednesday, Friday at a minimum, and then I try to jump on other times when I can. Where do I want to start? I really want to start with let's do the SpeechCon one. Let's see if we can get that done before I have to go, because there's a lot there. So we'll call this, what do we call it here? We call it, get new SpeechCon intent. What did I call that? I just called it SpeechCons. Should probably call it ENUS, just so I'm being really clear and specific about the fact that I'm dividing all of these up. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I love BeginBot stuff, and we just happen to be on at the same time, it looks like. Okay, so ENUS, that looks good. That's the thing that I want to build. So I have my SpeechCon intent name. Let's go do it. So that's my launch request. This is going to be my SpeechCon intent handler. This needs to be more specific. I need to take this return statement for help. And I need to do this here. So now it's an intent request, and this is the SpeechCon intent. And then we're going to do some stuff with it. But before we can do stuff, we need to add this here. So we'll do... So I have my SpeechCon intent handler. So that's registered and good. I have this. The thing that I just want to do is I want to be able to... AVS, Stupak, is Alexa voice service. It allows you to basically build an Alexa device with your own hardware or whatever, and then you can do a bunch of interesting things with that. But it's a free set of software that Alexa offers that allows you to build your own Alexa devices. Okay, so I have my SpeechCon intent handler console log. What I want to do is identify which thing they said, and then if they didn't say anything, give them a random one. So that should be pretty easy with the functions that we've created. So I'm going to say var spoken words equals helper dot get spoken words handler intent. No, handler input. And the slot name will be, what is the slot name? SpeechCon. So go find me the words that they spoke for the slot SpeechCon, and then var resolved words helper dot get resolved words handler input SpeechCon. Okay, so that should get us what they spoke and what was resolved. And if you don't know the resolved term, that basically means I have a list of data already, and did what they say match anything? And that's using the natural language understanding and machine learning from Alexa to make those decisions for me, and she provides me a list of the things that are close. So what I should be able to do, yeah, links are allowed. You can drop it in there, Stupak. Thank you. I think links are allowed. Give it a try. I don't think that I'm blocking that. I'm of the opinion until things are exploited, there's no reason to blow it up for everybody. All right, cool. So Stupak's got the link there. If you guys want to check out Home Assistant, I'm going to add that to a tab for myself, and I'll check that out later. Let's get back to this. I want to get this done before we end here. So if they didn't resolve any words, so if resolved words doesn't equal undefined, because that's what I pass back if I got nothing, this is where we'll just write some pseudocode. Say the SpeechCon that they resolved. And if they didn't, then I should do tell them that there isn't a SpeechCon for the value they indicated. Okay, so those are my 2 bits of logic, because I don't really care what they said. What I care is, what did I match? I should probably also give them a random one instead. Okay, so let's see if we can say the SpeechCon. So the first thing I'm going to need is a value like speech text. Output. That'll equal nothing for now. But if I resolve something, then I'm going to say speak output equals and then we need to go make sure we have that syntax. So SpeechCon reference, I want this say as, interpret as interjection. We're just going to take that and drop it in like that. And of course change some quotes so they actually work. Like so. And then this here, that all looks really good. I'm going to have to do like a, what do you say after the SpeechCon? What's the question? Okay. So this is the piece right here where I'm going to say resolved words 0 dot name. I think that's right. We can probably look at that a little bit. Resolved words. I'm in values, so it's name and ID. So yeah, that should work. Okay, so if my resolved words, then I say speak output, I can get rid of this. And now I'm going to say the thing. So should we give this a try? Let's see how much my first deploy breaks. Invalid body. You have an invalid body. Interaction model failed. You're going to tell me what failed? Does not look like they're going to give me any indication whatsoever about what's wrong, but it looks like maybe there's something way down here at the end. 1 comma. One little comma broke everything. Imagine that. Invalid body. Let's see if it works this time. Okay, it's updating the skill package. That's good. So we're pushing all that metadata up. We should have a new skill created in the dev portal. I'm doing this all on my account, and then what I will do, once we feel like we're done, when this skill is ready to go, that is when I will go into the other developer account and I will make the changes and publish. But I'm going to do all the testing here on my account just to make sure that it works. And Stupak, you make a very valid point. Things are never done, but I think this one we can get close. We can get to a point where we're like, all right, we're ready to push the new version, because this is a skill that has languished. I built this, boy, probably almost 3 years ago, and it really hasn't seen any love since then. So I'm building a whole brand new version. We've changed the CLI version, we've changed the SDK version, we've changed a lot of. There's been a lot of new features that have been released for Alexa since then. So all of that is good, and so now I have this skill that I didn't change the invocation name for. What did I do? Or maybe I did. I called it dev tips. So let's go to the dev portal for me. Because that's where we publish this new skill. And it's called Alexa Dev Tips. We can see it here. And let's do a little testing and see what we get. So if I say open dev tips, I actually wonder what will happen here.
Welcome. What can I tell you about
Yeah,
Alexa
I was worried about
development?
that. All right, so let's go look at my list of skills, because I have other versions of this. Dev tips. Several other versions. So I'm going to delete these. I don't need them. Okay. So now let's go. That's interesting. Where did my test button go? It's weird that that went away. Anyway, let's go look at testing and see if we can't knock this out. So now if I say open dev tips, what do you do?
This is Alexa Dev Tips. What topic can I assist with?
I probably need to disable that skill. So now if I go to alexa.amazon.com, so many things that you have to do when you're trying to build a new version of a skill. So if I go to skills here and I choose Alexa Dev Tips, it's not even enabled. I don't think I can search my portal by invocation name. But it feels like I might have another skill that's interfering. This is the one that I just built today. Well, let's just do this, just temporarily. I just wanted to see if this one thing works. So many things to get in the way. Invocation name, it's dev tips. We'll call it save build model. I just named it the thing that I just saw, right? But we'll update that really quick and see if that doesn't allow me to at least hit my skill rather than one of the other ones. Okay. So now if I go to test.
Okay, here's Red Bull TV.
Yeah,
to use it, you will need to go to the
Jeff Blankenburg dev tips. All right, one more time. We'll just change it to be that, and this should definitely get me to a place where I can test my thing. Kevin Evans, what's your comment about? And there's a good sound file. What is that a reference to? I don't see the rest of that conversation, I think. Open Jeff Blankenburg dev tips.
I found a few skills that might help. Do you mean Jeff Pollock ragtime piano? I found a few matches for that. Do you mean Jeff Pollock ragtime? All right.
Alexa, open Jeff Blankenburg dev tips.
I found a few matches for that.
Alexa, stop.
Do you mean Jeff? All right.
Come on. Oh, okay.
Welcome. You can say hello or help. Which would you like to try?
I got there. We hit our skill. So now I should be able to say Wahoo.
Undefined.
Okay, so we're close. The thing we're missing is the actual value coming out of resolved words, but here's a fun question. What does resolved words equal? And do I already do that in the resolved words? No. Okay. So let's see what we actually got. Oh, no. I just blew away the invocation name change that I made. Oh, what can I call this? Twitch. Oh, it skipped it. That's even better. If I go back here and look, did it change my invocation name or no? I think if it doesn't recognize a change locally, then it doesn't change it. Cool. Okay.
Welcome. You can say hello or help. Undefined.
What is my lambda function called? Ask Alexa Dev Tips default. Value.name. Okay. I can live with that mistake. Okay, let's push that code up. We have 3 minutes left, but I want to hear a speech con come out of Alexa's voice.
Sorry, that the voice skill is no longer available. You can find more
Alexa.
skills in the Alexa app.
Stop. All right, testing. Start Jeff Blankenburg Dev Tips.
Welcome. You can say hello or help. Which would you like to try? Awesome. Wahoo!
Awesome. All right, cool. So just as we're finishing up here, we've got the SpeechCon piece working. Now, there's a couple things that we're going to have to do with this. One is we need to make sure that we have a different set of SpeechCons, a different list of slot values for every language, because each of them have a different set of languages. And so our database will allow us to do that pretty easily. We also have... we're not doing anything yet if they didn't indicate. So if I say give me a random SpeechCon, this should break.
You just triggered answer intent.
Yeah, it doesn't know what to do with that. So we have lots more to do. We've only started building this thing, but I think we've gotten to a good place where we now have a code base that we can work from. I can get rid of this resolved words. But we'll, I may not even need spoken words. No, I will, because I'll have to say what it is down here. So we'll continue to work through this, and hopefully we'll make a ton of progress on Friday. I think that on Friday, now that we have the main rigging set up, it'll be pretty easy for us to crank and get the answers happening, and a few other things that I want to add. I also want to be able to allow you to change the voice dynamically. So if you want to listen to a specific Polly voice instead of Alexa's voice, great, we'll let you do that. If you want to change prosody and speech and speed and all that other stuff, those are all things that we're going to add to this as well. So stay tuned. Join me again on Friday, and we'll keep cranking on this thing. But until then, thank you guys all for joking around with me with my beard and the ridiculousness that is my face today. This has been a good time, and I'm glad that you guys are all here. So, like I said, I'll see you again on Friday. Don't forget to tune into the Amazon Alexa channel and to some of my colleagues as we continue building all this awesome Alexa stuff. So we'll see you then. Thank you guys all.